Now what happens when you're sick of Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous and how they do things? Well, you combine both with blackjack, hookers and good mechanics. Hunternet Starfighter, despite forward compound name, is a small indie game with big aspirations. Excellent PvP with great netcode, hardcore skill gameplay and full hardware support. With plans for single universe where everyone plays together and no safe zones, mining gameplay to build and deploy ships and more. While it's still in development, the project has very specific goals and it's actually accomplishing it. It's been a while since I looked at Hunternet. So, how is it shaping up? Well, surprisingly well. But first, what even is this not a game yet? Hunternet is a hardcore combat space sim with promises to do better than the big stagnant boys in the genre, and it's genuinely doing it. So then, the gameplay. Although with arcadey ship designs, much like that nerdy gal you know, it's got some goods underneath. In case of Hunternet, truly refined mechanics. You only got fixed weapons, meaning no gimbaled or turreted or any kind of aim assists, so you have to properly lead the target. Strict redouts and blackouts that border on hardcore. Oh wow, nice effects. G-lock. Loss of consciousness. Well, my god, oh, there we go, now I'm back. And if I'm at the wheel, joystick, I guarantee my pilot will be shooting blood out of his nose, ears and eyes at the very first maneuver. But anyways, most of all, the PvP that the other space sims struggle with, Hunternet has set as one of the main core focuses. And indeed, currently the playable version actually feels quite well. However, the bar for this is lower than the fucking dinosaur bones considering the competition. Elite uses peer-to-peer, which inherently is garbage and at most is passable, while Star Citizen uses dedicated servers. Well, they're first of all Amazon servers, and they're also made by a bunch of incompetents it seems. And No Man's Sky, it's again peer-to-peer, but seriously, why would you compare No Man's Sky with anything combat? But anyways, Hunternet plans the game to be in a single universe, each location being a single instance, like everyone that goes to a place sees everyone. And it's very unlike, say, Elite Dangerous with peer-to-peer instancing, where you could literally have separate instances for players in the same location. And it's also different from separate servers that Star Citizen has either. But surely, Hunternet has to have some sort of a limit, and I do wonder what those are. Now, they also claim that they are planning for prevention of the so-called quote-unquote zerging through already planned game mechanics of travel costs, logistics and choke points for jumping from place to place, so that no one organization, outfit or guild can't overpopulate the server with their own players. Basically, if the community decided to recreate what the modern airlines do with your food, that is smear constipation drugs on it so that you don't shit yourself during a plane fight, be reassured, Hunternet has a plan to lube up the servers, so to speak. Bold claims, if true. But setting that aside, from what I can see right now, in the last few years the game has progressed and the PvP, even PVE against AI is pretty fun. Nice explosions, say what you will. Yeah, well, the AI is not perfect, it just rammed the capital ship. Okay, well, it is what it is. Though clearly not everything is sunshine and rainbows. The fixed weapon enforcement means that there will be very high basic skill requirement to even play normally, unlike say games that provide basic assists like gimbaled weapons or even automatic 360 turrets. Then on top, in the final game there won't be any safe zones and damage from crashing and shooting each other will be always on, while the only thing holding people back will be the aforementioned jump costs. And there is more. You see, you log off, your ship, according to fuck you, as far as I can understand it, will stay in game. Yes, not and disappear. So that would solve combat logging in a way, but also would make it quite risky to log off in the first place, which is not a great mechanic to have overall. But maybe I misunderstood this? Did I? Anyways, on the other hand, mining. A big planned part of Hunternet will be to create mining as a gameplay for crafting, repairing and resupplying ships. Currently they mention only two currencies, one for crafting and one for fueling. Simple, right? Well, that's apparently by design. They mentioned that it's for the kiss. I mean, keep it simple. Stupid. Now, the focus of the game clearly is combat, and hardcore combat at that, but it's also a good idea to offer a little bit more or a different type of gameplay to break up the pace. Yeah, but what about the space sim hard-ons? You know, the spaceships. Well, currently there aren't a lot of them, unlike other crowdfunded things. There are fighters and capital ships, 3 of each, and that's about it. Oh, at least for now. Now, development plan-wise, the mining will be used to craft, upgrade, and support these capital ships. They'll act as both transport and the most safest place to log out your ships in. And speaking of smaller ships, well, there apparently will be ships with FTL drives built in. Others will require to use the outboard FTL units like the Star Wars the prequels showed us. While others are planned to be completely dependent on capital ships for transport and deployment. As for the open world, the plan is to create a network of connected dots enabling choke points like you see in, say, Stellaris or X4 with those jump gates. And speaking of that open world, currently the outline for the story is that there will be 2 big factions players can side with and help expand. However, for added threat and randomness, an alien race would also take part in conflicts across the play space. Kinda reminds me of Vano from PlanetSide 2. Yay, I love spandex! Oh shit, is this thing on? There will be minigames or closed-off matches without the need to prepare anything outside of the live universe, including racing. Though racing, well, I didn't get to play it in the current version, either because it's disabled or not implemented or I just simply got unlucky. But anyways, here are the clips of it from the YouTube. So then, that's the plan. Right now, Hunternet is on Steam only as a page, without a demo or even a release date. Kinda typical these days for crowdfunded games, isn't it? Still, if you choose to support the game, as in the pledges in funding, you get the access to the current version. So yeah, much like Star Citizen approach, but without looking, sounding and acting like a cunt! Now I did mention that it's not all space daisies and pew-pews, right? And even so, literally everything else aside from the camera wonkiness and AI is pretty refined. And this is kind of the point where I get the impression that the developers actually know what the fuck they're doing in the first place, and in fact are laser focused on making the game, not just stringing along space worlds with stupid overpriced imaginary toys. You know, like Star Citizen? Still, Hunternet is a crowdfunded game with rather, small team. And I mean, 1 person plus support kinda small. So, what else is good or bad? Well, Hunternet is super easy to pick up and play, as you'd expect from an arcade-style flight model. But underneath, there's real hardcore stuff. Support for HOTAS, eye tracking, and more. And of course, the good old immersion is the selling point. But frankly, at this point, my stool is immersive if I dip my hand into it. It doesn't mean it's not covered in shit either. Reading over fuck you, it's funny that they mention space legs and ship interiors. They blatantly say, no, it won't exist. Well, not really, unless of course you count VR as such. And for a game that's focused on making combat gameplay, I can respect that. Certainly more than what Elite Dangerous told people. Now, support for guilds, outfits, or in this game's case, called orgs, is planned. It's always nice to see planning early on for support on player groups. Unlike Elite Dangerous! Open world-wise, each location will be about 750 meters in radius, sort of an instance area with points of interest as you jump from location to location. The area size might sound small, but when you're averaging about 300 meters a second as a speed, it's alright. Oh, and it's funny that developers mention Newtonian physics as one of the selling points for the game. I don't think you know what Newtonian physics really mean there, son. It does not mean only that the ship has velocity and it keeps on floating in a direction without braking. It also means that you could accelerate indefinitely until you reach the speed of light. Luckily, there are speed limits, much like in Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous, and this is not Newtonian physics. Thank fuck, because full Newtonian physics games tend to be really bad and boring. Platform-wise, Hunternet will be on PC only. Woo! PC Master Race! But the performance I see, even in this early stage, could be playable on consoles too, if you really wanted it. Now, of course, time will show, but first we need a full game before implementing 15 other half-baked ideas. Like selling insurance papers for a space land or something retarded like that. But anyways, that's Hunternet, a very ambitious game with narrow scope, at least for now. Comparisons with Star Citizen's, at least the development process, is astonishing. Especially how core gameplay and mechanics, even the early performance, are very good for Hunternet and sparks hope into the game's eventual completion, while on the other hand, looking at our space whale abuser, all I can think of is this.